Eli Apple got roasted during and after the Super Bowl. The stupid Rams are world champions. But at least the halftime show was cool. Thomas hit that sexy new intro.
Hi guys, this is Jono Barnes. That's Jono, Ralph, not Jono. And you are watching Saints Happy Hour, the #1 Saints fan club and community in the world. Featuring everybody's favorites, Ralph, Andrew, Dave, and Kevin. You guys are gonna love this show. Who that? And cut. Good take, Jono, we're done. You ever watch that show? Not at all, have you? Nah, all I heard was that this Ralph guy always mispronounces his names or whatever. This has got time. Let me actually...
Here's my question.
Wow. I really need to do my research before I sign off on these contracts. No wonder Champagne blocked them. Hell, no wonder Champagne left. After watching that, being a Falcons fan won't be too bad.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Saints Happy Hour podcast. Thanks to John L. Barnes for doing that open. He's the best. Check out his videos. We are live on Twitch. If you aren't, follow us on Twitch. And remember to subscribe to Saints Happy Hour wherever you get your podcast. Also, become an annual patron on patreon.com/Saints Happy Hour to get the best Saints podcast every day, and you get a month for free. We had 2 new Twitch subscribers this week, CGB270 and Romeo, both subbed with Prime. Speaking of which, Kevin, did you know you can support the show for free every month if you use Amazon Prime? All you have to do is go to twitch.tv/Saints Happy Hour, click the subscribe button below the stream, and choose the option subscribe with Prime. It's super easy, and it's going to take you less than like 5 minutes. So go ahead and do it. Even if you're listening on the audio version, click the Twitch link in the description. And by the way, you can do it each month to support the show. So it's awesome. You should do it. My mom knows how to do it, so there's no excuse.
Damn.
Everybody, what are we drinking tonight? Kevin?
You wanna go first? All right, cool. So went to the liquor store and decided to treat myself to some Cadbury cream eggs.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, I'm eating all 4 of them because I'm a big fat fatty. And I got a nice bottle of bourbon whiskey. Hang on, I'm trying to line it up with the camera. Called Amador. Hang on, move that back. There we go.
Are you drinking that neat?
I had some ice in it before, but now I am drinking it neat.
Is that a classy? Is that classy or?
Yeah, well, yes, in that it doesn't have honey or a bunch of other sugary flavors to it, Ralph. Yes. This is 43% alcohol by volume, 86 proof. Finished in Chardonnay barrels.
Ooh, classy. That is classy.
Yeah, made in Kentucky.
Well, I'm not going to do anything to dispel the bougie accusations that I get. It's Valentine's Day, So actually, you guys know I was dry in January, and so I went to look at my beer fridge, and it was so pathetic. I have like 2 Purple Haze, 1 Corona, and like a Devil's Backbone Vienna Lager, and I'm like, I'm not feeling any of that. So my dad was nice.
Check the chat, guys.
Dave says he's on a date from hell. His wife is holding him hostage.
This one's for you, Dave.
Dave, I would say that we missed you, but that would be a lie. I was actually relieved that Dave wouldn't be on the show tonight because I thought maybe I'll get a word in. Maybe someone won't be obnoxious on the show.
Do you think Dave's at a better establishment than Olive Garden tonight, Kevin?
No.
Dave,
if there's one thing we know about Dave Cariello, he loves infinite breadsticks.
That's right. Who can say no? I'm drinking local Buzz again. Wine. It's good.
And shout out to my dad who hooked me up with this bottle yesterday for the Super Bowl. It's a little Chateauneuf du Pape.
Oh God,
that's the name of the wine.
French. So
some of you might know what that is.
Whatever.
Like two of you.
The Juge bougie meter just broke. It just exploded.
But I'm stemless, so I feel like that drops me down a notch. I feel like wine purists turn their nose up at stemless glasses, so I feel like that gives me like 1% street cred.
So, Kevin, did Eli Apple getting completely roasted during and after the game and the halftime show make up for the Rams winning the goddamn Super Bowl?
Not entirely. I wouldn't even say necessarily close. It maybe a little bit different for me, just being in St. Louis and having extra
hatred for Mr. Kroenke.
Hatred towards Stan Kroenke in general. I mean, I already didn't like the Rams, but Kroenke was that extra dose.
I couldn't watch him get the trophy. I was just like,
oh no. I
turned it off before that.
Yeah.
I didn't even stay up to watch like Stafford and whatever.
No,
else.
I ejected and watched Reacher.
Yeah. I gotta say this.
Okay.
Yeah. I gotta say this about Eli Apple. The anti-New Orleans stuff was annoying. So I'm glad that he failed. I'm glad that he gave up the game-winning touchdown. I'm glad that he sucked in this game, and I'm glad that he gets to eat his words. All that is great. But I gotta say, he doesn't even deserve to be in the esteemed or the unesteemed category of like your Jason Davids, your Junior Galetts, your Brandon Browners. He's not even on the same planet as those guys. And so nice try, nice effort. You're throwing shade at New Orleans, trying to rile us up on Twitter and all that. But now that he's garbage and he's been ostracized and ridiculed, I'm kind of ready to move on from Eli Apple. I don't want to spend too much thought, time, or energy on that guy because you're not you know what I'm saying? He's not in the Junior Galette or Brandon Browner pantheon of Saints players that we hate. Right. He's kind of low on the list. He's kind of like a pissant. I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, but he moved up the list.
Well, right. I mean, had he not spent the last 2 or 3 weeks shitting on New Orleans, today he would be getting 70% less of the heat that he's getting.
I actually think we would be nice to him.
I think it'd be 100%. I think it'd be 90% less. Kevin would be like, Eli, what do you expect? He did the best he could. He's not that good. Don't blame him. Blame this, blame that, blame the referees. Yeah. But now we're just piling on him.
That's right.
It's all your fault and we love it.
If he kept his mouth shut, he would have been in the same category as Von Bell and Trey Hendrickson. We all would have been rooting for him. He was bad in New Orleans, but he wasn't that bad.
I tell you what, if I ever got embarrassed on a national stage in front of tens of millions of people, I sure as shit would not have my mom go on social media the next day.
No, you can't.
And try and say nice things while I hit out on social media and didn't come take my medicine.
This play that we're seeing right now on the highlights, if you're on the live stream, thanks for joining us, by the way. That play, Andrew, got me real excited because your boy for the Bengals basically did a PI and a wrestling move where he kind of face mask, body slam, the whole nine, caught the touchdown. And I was like, if that play screws over the Rams, this will be a perfect evening. I was so excited for that play. It ended up not working out.
Same thing that I always say, which is it's kind of like the Bomani Jones factor. I preferred the fact that the Rams got screwed on a no call.
Yeah.
It made it better for me. I wanted their fan base to feel outrage about a referee decision that killed them in this game. And I got to say, the Eli Apple pass interference call, he's got full grab of his jersey, so I get that. But Logan, the linebacker, who comes around and bats that ball, that pass interference call, when they let it go the whole game, to decide to throw a ticky-tacky flag at that stage of the game was freaking horrible, man. It was horrible. And it's not that it wasn't pass interference. It was more just be consistent in how you call the game. And the refs made it clear from minute one that unless you were jumping off sides or committing a personal foul. Not even then,
dude.
Yeah. They weren't throwing flags. They were letting them play. That was kind of that was clear from the first snap, is that they were going to let these two teams play. So for that flag to happen on 3rd and goal or 2nd and goal when it would have made it 3rd and goal from the 7, it would have made it a lot more difficult for the Rams to score that winning touchdown.
It would have been, it would have been 4th and goal from the 7.
Right. And what? They would have kicked a field goal there, or would they have gone for it?
It's a good question.
They had 3 timeouts.
Kevin, the thing with this game that is, it sort of boggled my mind is I know that Cesar Ruiz was bad for the Saints. I mean, we made jokes on this podcast. Andrew had clips of him just falling down, and we've run them. I mean, Joe Burrow, he got sacked 7 freaking times in this game. He got sacked when you combine the regular season and playoffs. He got sacked 70 times. Like, I can't fathom how a quarterback can take that much of a beating and just keep getting up and making plays. It was, I wouldn't say it was impressive, but it was just weird to watch a team in the Super Bowl have such a horrible line.
No, weird's not the word. Tragic is the word.
Tragic.
Because he got sacked 9 times against the Titans.
That's right.
I think I saw he got sacked in the postseason like 21 times. Whew.
Yeah.
I mean, and you said
Cesar Ruiz would be an upgrade.
And you said what? Over 70 in the entire season?
Yep.
Like that, okay. That's not shit. What was the guy's name from Houston?
What guy? I mean,
David, I think it was
David Carr.
Okay, David Carr. David
I can't
Carr.
believe you didn't call him Derek.
I know. I should.
Well, I wanted to say David, but I was like, wait a minute, is that the fucker's name from the Raiders or not? But one of the Carrs. Anyway, he got sacked like, what, 80, 90 times?
I mean, want to say he got sacked like 80. Like, it wasn't 90, but it was up.
That a team made it to the Super Bowl with a quarterback getting sacked that much it defies belief. It really does. Like, that offensive line. And when Burrow went down in the second half, and there was a still image of him, like, clutching his leg down on the
You're like, oh, my God. We're going to get Brandon Allen trying to win this game.
I was ready to drive. I was ready to say, we need to go to L.A. and we need to go to Cincinnati, demolish both buildings, and salt the earth on both sites so they can't play football ever again, because the Bengals don't deserve to have a football team anymore if Joe Burrow gets injured permanently. Like, this is despicable to watch. It's absolutely despicable to watch. This offensive line nearly got this guy killed, and it's the Bengals succeeded in spite of their offensive line, in spite of their shit-ass secondary play from a guy like Eli Apple. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon put this fucking team on their back and carried them like fucking Samwise and Frodo.
I want to hop on that.
Up the mountain to the Super Bowl, and they nearly got all the way to the top. Nearly there.
That's a great point, Kevin. When we talk about, like, I want to go back to all those people that said, I don't want the Saints to make the playoffs. I don't want them to make it. I'd rather get the better draft pick. Think about Cincinnati here. And Kevin just said it. Their offensive line, by far the worst of any offensive line in the playoffs. Of all the teams that made it, they were the worst. And they had liabilities on both sides of the football. Eli Apple, he's a horrible number 2 cornerback. We already know that. So on both sides of the ball, complete liabilities, but they were able to use a clutch quarterback that made plays at the right time and a kicker that was on fire and not missing anything. And that was enough to propel them to the Super Bowl, winning a 1-score game against the Raiders, a 1-score game on the road against the Titans, a 1-score game on the road against the Chiefs, and then that Super Bowl was there for the freaking taking.
I have to say,
another 1-score game.
I have to say this. Like, there have people on the internet, not Saints fans, but national media people, and they bang on Taysom. Oh, they pay him too much. I'm telling you, Cincinnati, Andrew, those final 2 play calls, what the hell was that? Like,
they're not a good team. Like,
you got to run your best play.
Cincinnati is not good.
I mean, I can tell you this. Not that the Saints were good enough to make the Super Bowl or whatever, but I can guarantee you, if the Saints faced 4th and 1 in the Super Bowl, it would have been Taysom power. Everybody in the world would have knew it was coming, and the Saints would have run it. work or not, would have been like, well, that's their best play. They run that on short yardage all the time, and you got to go down with your down guns a-blazing
Well,
with your best call.
I remember watching that game and thinking, when your quarterback is getting hit this much, and look, I've had the luxury of watching Sean Payton so many years now that I know what he's going to call, I know what his game plan is going to be. Just that's being a Saints fan and seeing the same game plan and the same coaching for 16 years. But I gotta say, like, Taylor sucked in this game, and I just felt like Sean Payton would have done a much better job. And it's one of those things where, like, he would not have allowed his quarterback to get hit. He would have gone jumbo. He would have run the ball way more out of a jumbo set. He would have thrown way more screen passes. We didn't see the Bengals throw a single screen.
That's weird. I know.
That's 101. Like, when you're getting all these pass rushes that are just like unabated to the quarterback and they're barely getting touched and the offensive line is caving in, like, one of the best play calls that you can make to calm them down is a screen pass. And if you break it for 30 yards, they start to say, okay, well, hold on. We can't just go guns blazing. We got to be careful about this. And it at least makes them second guess things. And when you're running, if you're not getting anywhere offensive line wise, you got to bring a jumbo set in. You got to bring a tackle eligible. You know, like those are staples of the Sean Payton offense. And I just thought it was a crime against humanity. Taylor did none of those things. Like, it was bad coaching. And I know this because I've seen elite coaching for 16 years.
You know, that's enough about this. Like, the Super Bowl, the Rams won. It just makes me want to vomit, Kevin. But I have a theory about the Super Bowl experience on a whole, and you can feel free to blow holes in it. But I feel like we used to be excited as a country about, like, the commercials, right? We'd be like, oh, Super Bowl commercials are going to be great. We're gonna love them. But I think now that we have cell phones and YouTube and the internet, like, there's nothing that can excite us in a commercial anymore. We're like 20 years ago, when all you had is cable TV and regular TV and you didn't have your cell phone and you didn't have the internet, like Coca-Cola having polar bears drinking a soda, we'd be like, oh, that's adorable. And we talk about it for like 2 days. Now there's literally like nothing a commercial can do that can keep our interest for like more than 20 minutes after a game. And the Super Bowl commercials, like, they're never going to be what they were 10 or 15 or 20 years ago.
Here's the thing. Before it was video straight before it's not even the internet. It's before YouTube and things like that. It was a lot easier because not only would you get the commercial during the game, but the commercial would then keep airing, you know, a little while longer, well after the Super Bowl. So you would see it sort of in a rotation. Now it's like it airs once or twice, and then that's it. It's done. You never see it again. It's like, what's the point? And then also, a lot of these commercials, they run teasers for the commercial online, so you sort of get a teaser. Like, it's not a movie. It's just a fucking commercial. Like, I feel the cool stuff are the movie trailers that air. There was the trailer for the Doctor Strange movie, which looked amazing. There was the trailer for the Jordan
Nope movie, yeah.
Yeah. Why can't I think of his name? Jordan
Peterson?
No, that's
Jordan
not him.
Peele. Jordan Peele.
Jordan
I
Peele,
don't
thank
know.
you.
Andrew,
The less we say about him, the better.
Andrew,
Jordan Peele.
do you
That's
think
a great movie?
Do you think all the Bitcoin commercials in like 5 years, are we going to make fun of all the Bitcoin commercials like we did with the year when they had pets.com and like all these internet websites that went out of business? Is that going to be
man. I mean, Bitcoin, man, like, I don't think you want to get me started on this.
No,
the
go.
worst joke I've ever heard.
I don't think we want to go down this path.
Go for it.
How much have you invested in Dogecoin and Andrei?
0.
Or some Russian coin?
The funny money. I'm not a fan of the Bitcoin.
Putin coin.
I'm not into crypto, and I gotta say, like, it's a fundamental thing where I just like it's a Ponzi scheme. It's assigning value to. It's like people artificially saying this has worth. I'm gonna spend a lot on it. Ergo, it creates a buzz, and but it's really not worth anything. And it's I think look for the people that get rich and they sell at the right time, good for them, and it's great. But like it also has high volatility, and it has the potential to completely torpedo and nuke people's lives. And I don't know, like it's not great odds. Like it makes me nervous, like betting on something like that, And so, yeah, I don't know, man. Like I just think it's anyway. It's unbelievable. It felt like there were so many commercials centered around that it's like it's taken over, and I think it's like this COVID thing. Like everyone thinks that they've got like better ideas than I don't know.
My
man.
wife,
like, don't get me started.
My wife, Kevin,
I'm going to say something I regret on here.
The commercial with the what do you call it? The thing that was bouncing around the screen.
A QR code.
Yeah, the QR code you scan with your phone. That commercial drove my wife into a rage. She was like, "What is this bullshit?"
That was creative.
Somebody paid millions of dollars for this. She was offended. But
yeah, by the way, I did the QR code on the commercial.
Their website broke.
That was the best ad, man.
And Saints Happy Hour podcast is now owned by someone else. Sorry. I blew it. I'm sorry, Ralph.
So don't worry, Andrew. It's somebody in the Ukraine, and when Russia invades and takes them over, we'll get ownership back. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Thomas will negotiate. We'll be fine.
So
one thing you can count on, it's the Russians returning something.
Yeah.
Kevin, the halftime show, and Andrew will get me on because he says I'm a prisoner of the moment. And I don't know if it's the best halftime show ever, but it's damn close. Like that halftime show was freaking amazing. Like it was freaking good from start to finish. It had a cool set. It had, even Eminem, who's been kind of washed. I can't remember the last thing he's done in the last decade.
That's not true. That's not true. He's had hits.
Even he came out and rocked. Like it was tremendous. Like they need to do more they need to have more hip hop in the halftime show. More G-funk.
You're gonna upset a lot of white people, Ralph.
I know, white people.
What was Kendrick doing on that?
You talking about me, Kevin?
Did you guys think it was a little weird that Kendrick was up there?
Well, they wanted a younger hip hop guy. They wanted a younger person up there.
No. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not like the thing that was amazing to me though is like Andrew, if you had told baby boomers in the 90s that like Snoop Dogg in 25 years is going to be a lovable pitchman and adored by America, like I think baby boomers would have had a seizure. Like they'd have been like, no
Actually,
way.
that might have helped the country if they'd have all had a collective seizure.
Him and Martha Stewart became best buds, and only one of them went to prison.
I don't know.
And it's
I gotta be honest. I gotta be honest. Like I listened to all these songs in the mid '90s, like, and I was super into it. California Love, Doggy Style, all those albums, like, and I'm just like, I don't know. Like I didn't love it like everyone else did.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing
that these guys are all in their late 50s, early 60s, and I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of like how I felt about the Who, honestly, when people were going nuts, how great.
The Who was an act of terrorism. The Who was.
It's just like,
y'all come off.
These bands are so old. Like, why? Like, I don't know. I know this is a weird take, but like, I kind of enjoyed The Weeknd more. Like, I just felt like that was more hip and that was more like new and fresh and like, I don't know, like.
So would you have
Nikolai says they're the new 90s. Old guys. That's right.
Okay, so would you have just wanted Kendrick Lamar by himself? Maybe
I think so. My complaint about Kendrick
come out. Like
my complaint about Kendrick is that like he was miscast. Like he's up there with Mary J. Blige and Snoop and Dr. Dre and Eminem. Like the youngest person there is Eminem, and he's like 49 years old.
They needed hologram Biggie or hologram Tupac.
Right.
Instead of Kendrick Lamar.
Thank you.
That's what they needed.
Or like they should have just thrown Nate Dogg in there and he should have done Regulators. Or no, Nate Dogg's dead. Sorry, Warren G. And they should have just done regulators or something.
The one thing I will say, and I noticed it, is Dr. Dre, he didn't do any of his songs that were pre-2001, probably because he doesn't own the masters, so he didn't do like Keep Your Head Ringing and some of his like. So I was a little bit surprised, but then afterwards, like, oh, that makes sense.
It's well, Brett, you're right. We're old too. And then Wargot's saying late 50s. I'm talking about the age of the singers. I'm not talking about the era.
I mean, Snoop Dogg's only
Dr.
50
Dre's like
and
60.
No,
Snoop Dogg's like 56, man.
No, he's
Isn't
not.
All right, hang on.
Look
I'm
that up,
Googling it
Kevin.
right now.
I think
think he
Snoop
is.
Dogg's like
Some of those
50
dudes are
and
old,
Dr.
man.
Dre is almost 60. But
know.
Snoop
Alright,
Dogg's
eight-
not that old.
Andrew doesn't
How
know
old?
football.
Andrew, how old right now? Number.
56.
Ralph, number.
51.
60.
Ralph, he is 50 years old. He was born
Damn.
October 20th, 1971.
There you go.
All right,
I told
all right.
you.
It's not as bad as I thought. What about Dr. Dre? He's got to be 60.
He's got to be close to 60.
57. 58.
55.
Mary
I'm
J.
gonna say
Blige is 51. Wargot.
Dr. Dre is 56.
See?
Birthday. His birthday is in 4 days.
So he's been 57.
Eminem is 49. He said. Wargot.
Really?
Yeah.
Eminem is
Okay.
49.
Fine. They're younger than I thought. I don't know.
Eminem
I'm
is
just like
49.
I don't know. I like it
Mary
was
J.
like in the 90s.
Blige.
I was listening to these songs. So it just like I don't
Mary
know.
J.
like-
Blige, 51.
Yeah.
I feel like in some ways like music, and this isn't a complaint about the genre or these specific artists, but like I feel like music is kind of frozen in time. It's become so disposable from like 2005 to 2022 that like these hits they happen and they happen so quickly, and there's no albums anymore, and so these songs that were like in the 80s and 90s, like they stand the test of time way more than maybe they should. You know what I'm
That's right.
saying? Because like they had more staying power at the time.
Yeah.
And now it's like these people like Dre and Snoop, like they have way bigger tours than they should because no artists are really getting big like them anymore.
Well,
you
so, I
know?
mean, you're right. It's hard to get like it's hard to be a mega star.
I mean, Taylor
like you
Swift has
had.
done
I
it,
mean,
obviously, yeah. But yeah, it's hard.
But here's the thing.
He's going to be the halftime show at some point in the very
The
in the near
halftime
future.
show is cool. Like I'm not trying to be all like, I know everyone loved it, but I don't know, man. It's just like I love those songs. I love those artists, but it's just like it just feels dated. It felt dated to me, honestly.
Well, the artists are in their 50s and late 40s. The youngest guy was Kendrick Lamar, and he's 36, 34.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I liked 50 Cent hanging upside down.
50
You know?
Cent. 50
Who's that?
Cent looked like the most aged of them all, by the way.
He did. 50 Cent had a lot of miles
Cent
on
is
him.
46.
Whew, he looked the oldest of them all, man.
And he's
He's
the
been
youngest.
living a little harder than Dre and Snoop.
So this is a Saints podcast.
Is it?
So the Saints, they are kind of making news, Andrew, in a sense of this, is that Dennis Allen, surprisingly, is not just promoting from within for offensive and defensive coordinator. He's interviewing people outside the building, quote unquote. He's interviewing. He interviewed the receiver coach from Dallas. He interviewed the running backs coach for the Colts, who I know nothing about until Butterich tweeted a bunch of things about how he's some sort of RPO savant.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that Dennis Allen is like, this offense sucked. We got to do something to shake it up. I'm going to get somebody outside the building to change it up. Can that work with the personnel they have that's kind of based around the Sean Payton offense? Can it work if they go get the whoever from the Colts or wherever?
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. So a quick shout out because Phil Illinois asked both in the chat and on Discord. He asked this question a couple times, so I want to give him a quick shout out. Phil Illinois, I don't know if that's Phil from Illinois or if that's like a Filipino in Illinois. I don't know. That word combination could go either way. But he was asking, because the Saints are looking for an RPO coach, and I like that, by the way, the fact that they're interviewing guys like that, because that means Dennis Allen is interested in thinking about being more modern offensively and thinking outside the box just in terms of approach. And I applaud that, because I do think, look, he knows as much as anyone as a defensive coordinator, like, what's the toughest thing to prepare for, and how can we make this offense with our limited resources and our limited personnel, and just in terms of like what we have to work with, like, how can we make it difficult to defend and dangerous? And I think going full RPO is an interesting angle, in the sense that I'm not sure they have the cap space and the players to be dangerous without having a scheme change that's more simplified, and then you get one or two guys, and all of a sudden you're tough to defend again. So I think it's an interesting approach, but his question is, does this rule out, if you go that route, does it rule out Jameis Winston? And I think it does. Ooh. I think if the Saints hire an offensive coordinator that's kind of all in on the RPO thing, like, I start to wonder, like, is Taysom Hill the guy, or is it Taysom Hill and another guy that kind of complements, like, they're kind of similar in style, So it's interesting, and I do wonder if Jameis Winston is maybe not in the cards and not in the plans if they go this route.
Kevin, let's say Andrew's right. They hire let's play it out. They hire the guy from the Colts, RPO guy, and they don't sign Jameis Winston or Wentz or whoever the hell.
Eddie.
And they go into the draft, and all you got is Taysom, Simeon, Book, and you assume they're going to draft someone. How terrified of that prospect would you be?
God, I hate to hear that. I hate to hear that. Yeah, Jim covered it. I would not be fond of that. I just, wouldn't.
It makes me almost want to vomit.
Would you be scared because of the quarterback they might play in draft, or are you scared because you're worried that they're going to trade up to get the quarterback they want, which you hate, of course?
Yeah, well, they're trading up no matter what. Let's be honest.
Well, right. I hear nothing but people saying that this quarterback class is not that.
Speaking of things that Kevin hate, are we going to give him his moment in the sun to take his victory lap about Adrian?
Oh yeah,
Peterson?
We got to do it. Adrian Peterson got removed from a flight and arrested. He was trying to fly home from the Super Bowl. He got arrested.
By the way, Ralph, Kevin somehow found out about this. I got a text from Kevin about Adrian Peterson getting arrested, and then I searched it on Twitter. It was nowhere to be found. Then I was like scouring the internet and looking on TV. No mention of it whatsoever. And then about 90 minutes later, I get that, my phone, and I look at it. It's ESPN, and it says Adrian Peterson arrested at the airport for spousal abuse or whatever. So Kevin had had people on the plane were freaking texting Kevin. His hatred for Adrian Peterson is so far-reaching. It's so out there in the world that he has more connections, and he found out about this. Like, TMZ had him on speed dial. They were like, we got to text Kevin before we go live with this. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. A victory
Kevin,
lap.
Did you see it coming?
A victory lap is not necessary, because it feels. What am I going to do? Be happy and gloat that a shithead got arrested again for being a shithead. Like, no, like I'll be happy if the guy goes to jail and stays there.
You gotta feel a little. I told you so. A little. Kevin. You gotta feel a little vindicated.
He's got to be broke. He's bouncing around
maybe,
from team to team still. He's like 40 years old.
Vindicated slightly, but it's just like the guy is not really playing anymore. Like
he's trying to.
Well, hopefully this is the end of that.
I doubt it.
I just feel like, Kevin, you have leaned so hard into Adrian Peterson of all people.
Yeah.
in your public enemy number one.
Right.
And if he had gone and rode into the sunset and retired and we had never heard his name again, I feel like that would have been a misstep. If it would have just been the switch thing and then he kind of never got in the news again,
I still hated him.
Yeah, I get it, but like I'm just saying, compared to Browner, compared to Darren Sharper, compared to all these other guys that are doing stupid things, like I'm not sure that Peterson is on that level. And then he had to go and do this, and like now it's kind of like maybe Kevin's onto something here.
Yeah.
Solve your problems with aggression.
I don't know.
Lean into it, Kevin. Take your victory. I would have taken my victory lap. I would have.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day when, like, right after I texted you guys and Dave sent back the whole, like, oh, you're going to do a victory lap. It's everybody has a thing. No. Everybody has a thing. Everybody has their own line. Peterson. Everybody has their own line. And for me, it was Adrian Peterson. For me, it was child abuse. Like, for me, that's what it was.
And I will say this.
I'd like to think that's the line for all of them.
No.
No, but here's the thing.
But here's the thing. Because I have to call myself out to some degree, because I'm not out here. I wasn't out here every week during the season raising questions or red flags about Jameis Winston's questionable past, allegations against him or anything like that. But I was on Adrian Peterson. And then when the stuff with Deshaun Watson came out, I pounced on that. There were certain things that maybe I don't know, let slide or haven't come out vociferously against. I say all that to say that everybody has to make up their own minds on something. Like, what is the thing for you that is too far that says, I'm out? I have to step back.
But here's the thing I'll say about you, Kevin, is a lot of people say, I'm out. I'm not watching it anymore. I'm leaving. I'm not doing this anymore. And like, they don't really mean it. They just say it on Twitter and they're back a week later. The thing about you was you were like, Adrian Peterson, dude, I'm out. Yeah. And you were out until he was gone. And like, it's a rare thing, I will say. And I'm like that. I root for laundry. Like, I'll put up with, I might talk a good game, but I'll put up with damn near anything if it helps the Saints win.
And
I wish I was a better person, but I'm not.
No.
Oh, and I appreciate that, but it's okay. So 2 points. One, I come from the wrestling world, and wrestling Twitter is every week. It's, oh my God, this is terrible. I can't believe this person did this or said this. I can't believe this company did this or supports this or is running an event in this country that murdered a dissident and beheaded a journalist. I can't believe they're going to do this. Okay, I'll see y'all next Monday night to watch Monday Night Raw. Like, that's wrestling Twitter. They'll piss and moan about every little thing, and then they'll keep watching the thing that they hate. That's that. So maybe that's how I was able to easily pull back and distance myself in this case. The other thing is people, and like you said, people will say, oh, I'm done, I'm out, I hate this, why am I watching this? All right, we'll see you guys next Sunday at noon or 3 o'clock. And then the few times that people will pull themselves away, oh, see, guys? See? Look at me. Look at me. I'm not watching. Look at me. I'm not watching. No. Just don't watch. Just don't watch. Just watch. This was me when the Adrian Peterson stuff was happening.
Hi, Kevin.
Picture.
I gotta say, this is the first point in this podcast where I miss Dave. If Dave had said all these things about Adrian Peterson, and then that happened at the airport, Dave would have spent the last 37 minutes of the show rubbing it in our noses.
And he would have pulled out a guitar at the end of it.
Yes.
Everyone has a hard time listening to Dave.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like,
why is that quality so terrible? It does not sound like that on my phone.
Yes, it does, Dave.
All right, I take it back. I didn't miss it.
Well, I don't know, but that's it. Define your lines, find your boundary, find whatever is the thing that for you is too much, and then when it gets to a point,
Well,
walk
speaking
away.
of lines, Ralph, I got to tell you, I thought the line for right guard play that I could tolerate was Cesar Ruiz. And then I watched the Cincinnati Bengals play last
There we
night.
go. Thanks for steering it back to football. On-field antics. Appreciate it.
Well, we got more antics. And Kevin, we're not done with antics, and we're not done with Saints news either. This is confusing to me because Ian Rappaport, he dropped some interesting and possibly good news about Michael Thomas. Rappaport tweeted that Michael Thomas is back in New Orleans in a good place, finally health-wise. And it looks like what he's been through, and he's explained why the Saints won't deal him. But then in his interview with NFL Network, he didn't mention anything about Michael Thomas's good health, and his interview was really confusing. Thomas, play that.
It seems the curiosity and saga surrounding Michael Thomas, the Saints standout receiver, is coming to a close in a positive way for all parties. Of course, Michael Thomas missed last season with a foot injury and then had surgery late, and then, of course, a setback. Ended up having surgery again, and it just never quite got right. I am told two important factors in the Michael Thomas situation. One, he has spent considerable time in New York after another setback with his foot, getting weekly treatments. That's where he has been really since the regular season ended, after he announced and made it clear that he was not coming back. The other part of it is he is back in New Orleans now. He has been communicating with the team. I am told they are not expected to trade him, and they want him back. So expect Michael Thomas back with the New Orleans Saints, and of course, new coach Dennis Allen for the 2022 season.
So that soundbite, Andrew, he's talking about the season ending. He's not talking about Michael Thomas being in New York and having a setback after the regular season ending. He's talking about when Michael Thomas seasons ended, I assume, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So it is good news. Like Michael Thomas, he's on the road back. And he made up with CD Deuce today. Like, it's all good.
Yeah,
We should
he's tweeting with CD Deuce. Look, things are looking up for Michael Thomas.
They got back together because they were making fun of Eli Apple together.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nothing bonds men than making fun of another man. Like, it's the way to
there
go.
was nowhere for this to go. The Saints can't cut him. It's $20 million in dead money and no cap relief if you trade him or cut him. So it's really not an option. Like, it has to work for the Saints and Michael Thomas this year. They have no choice. Now, they could trade him or cut him after June 1st, but they get about $10 million in relief at that point. But what does $10 million give you after June 1st? Free agency's already done. There's not much you can do with the $10 million at that point. So they're stuck. And I think Michael Thomas realizes that. And I think the Saints realize that. So we'll see how this season goes. But I think they're kind of stuck in this marriage, at least for another season.
Kevin, I was thinking about this. And Michael Thomas being healthy for the Saints in 2022 is as critical as anything they do in the offseason. Because if he's healthy, it gives whoever the quarterback is a leg up, because he can get open and you can throw it to him, and you can throw it to him 100 times during the year, and he can, get you a ton of yards. And I just feel like his health is absolutely essential to the Saints succeeding in a way that it hasn't really been the last 2 years. But if he's not healthy in 2022, the Saints offense is kind of bleeped.
And no kind of about it. I mean, there isn't. You're going to have a new coach, new OC. You're going to have, who knows what the quarterback situation is going to be. Let's say
they will be playing Cincinnati one game at home, so Eli Apple will be on defense that game.
Oh my God,
maybe they can get by that game without.
I tell you what, if the Saints, if the receiver who lines up against Eli Apple doesn't wind up with 150 yards, throw him off the team.
Yeah, but see, we don't have petty Sean Payton calling plays anymore, Kevin. That's a critical thing to remember.
We might
If
have
you had
RPO
Sean
Dennis
Payton,
Allen. Yeah.
you know he would
You,
burn Eli Apple to
me,
hash.
Juge, I could go down the street, pick a guy off the corner. Hi, do you know what football is? Yes? Design an offense to get a receiver 150 yards, and that guy will do it, provided the guy in the secondary guarding that receiver is Eli Apple.
Could Kenny Stills do it?
No. No, he could not.
Kenny Stills would probably wind up with $130, though.
I think Kenny Stills got poor Curtis Johnson fired. I stand by that.
Facts.
But it's Andrew. It is an interesting quandary. You mentioned it before. The Saints and Michael Thomas are kind of stuck with each other. What would be a season for Michael Thomas? And I know they don't have a quarterback yet, so it's really hard to judge. But what would be a season for Michael Thomas in 2022 that you would be like, oh, that's a good season? Like, not that he would deliver what he delivered in 2019, right? But like, what would be a season from him where you'd be like, okay, that's a good season. He's back, or he's on the way to being back, and I'm excited about having him in the fold for the Saints going forward. What's a 2022 stat line that you would hope for him that's realistic?
I mean, certainly over 90 catches, close to 100 catches, over 1,000 yards. Yeah, ideally double-digit touchdowns. I really don't think the Saints offensively can be anywhere close to good without getting that kind of production from Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a minimum, for them to be decent.
Yeah. The thing is, for me, I just look at him and it feels like his career is like, if it doesn't happen this year, if he can't get healthy, his career may be over in short order, which is really sad because he's basically, Kevin, he might be the best receiver in Saints history if he doesn't catch another pass. So like, if his career doesn't get back on track, it'll really be one of the one of the biggest
Tragedy.
like Saints players to fall off a cliff to go from like going to be one of the all-time great Saints to just falling off a cliff rapidly. I was trying to think
he would make Cedric Ellis look like child's play. Hey, Wardam Hawk 311 Kevin wants to know how many yards could Boo Williams end a game with if Eli Apple was in his shadow?
Well, let's see. Boo Williams, you'd probably he'd wind up with like below 100 yards, but he'd get 3 touchdown catches. Like Eli Apple would just act like it's a victory that he kept him to under 100. His mom would tweet out, oh, my precious baby held his man below 100 yards, and
I don't think she'd phrase it that way.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Kept him below 100 yards, and he would still catch 3 touchdowns. So yeah.
I mean, the Eli Apple slander during the week and during the game is going to be incredible. And it's too bad CD Deuce plays defense because he might get if CD Deuce could get Eli Apple to punch him during the game. I don't know exactly how that would happen, but if it did, Andrew, would it be a top 5 moment in Saints history?
Again, I kind of just go back to I'm kind of ready to move on from Eli Apple.
I'm not, because
Really?
I'm petty. And we're all about the jokes.
I
There's
feel
a good chance
I
Eli
feel like
Apple
we're
might not
giving
be.
Eli Apple too much credit. Like he
He
wasn't
might not be
bad
on the
enough with
Bengals
the
next year
Saints.
anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. This whole thing is weird to me. Eli Apple was bad. He was good for half a season when we acquired him. Remember, when the Saints picked him up, he replaced Ken Crawley, and he was an upgrade.
We were pumped.
We were actually happy with him. And then in year 2, he was doing pretty well until he messed up his knee, and then he was horrible. and he tried to play on a bum knee, and maybe he's bitter because the Saints hung him out to dry and they didn't bring him back after he played on a bum knee, and the fan base turned on him. So I get it, but like, I never hated Eli Apple. Like, Eli Apple wasn't even on my radar as like a dude that I should hate until all this stuff went down on Twitter. And like, I get his mom, and I get that he had all this history and all that prior to coming to the Saints, and a lot of people in New York hate him, but I just never felt that. And so I don't know, like, to me, like, Eli Apple is not on a level that I should be giving him this much attention. I don't think we should be giving him this much attention.
We'll have to let it lie until next year. But I think there's like a 70% chance that Eli Apple is not on the Bengals next year, which would ruin our fun.
Yeah, he's going to be out of the NFL.
Speaking of fun, the hotline this week, it's short, but last week Andrew asked to give us your stories where the Saints made you so mad you did something you regret. And patrons, they get the unedited version, which we'll post for patrons only. It will post tomorrow. It's really good. But this week's hotline, it's really short, but it's really good. It involves the infamous double reverse from the Tampa Bay game in 2008, but it has a happy ending. Thomas, play the hotline for this week.
It's time for this week's hottest takes from the Saints Happy Hour Hotline.
Hey guys, this is Darren, longtime listener and devoted patron. Juge mentioned he wanted to hear some embarrassing stories of watching the Saints play. Guys, I was born in New Orleans, West Bank, and raised in Tampa. Who dat forever? In 2007 versus the Bucs, it was a double reverse game. Had some friends over and a brand new girlfriend. Friends were kind of joking with her, saying that she's never watched a Saints game with me. And my friends just talk about, oh girl, you're in for a treat. Well, the double reverse happens and we lose the game. I proceeded to kick the shit out of our entertainment center. A couple hours later, I removed the shoe with a bloody sock. Whew. Well, I lost a big toenail and had to throw away those shoes. Well, here's an update. The toenail grew back, and that girl has been my wife for the past 11 years. Go Saints! Oh. Guys, I love the show. Let the Dennis Allen reign begin. Lover boys. Who dat? Guys love the show. And by the way, Ralph, your flag behind you should be Geaux, not Go. Dude, get with it. I thought you were a Saints fan. Jesus. Guys, I love you. Love the show. Can't wait till the next one comes out. Who dat?
Oh, see, that's nice. It's Valentine's Day, Andrew. I thought that was a nice hotline.
Great. That was a great story.
Kevin had to eject for whatever reason, so his screen is black. But I thought that hotline was nice. We needed people. We should have done it earlier in the production meeting or whatever. But people, give us an idea for the hotline for next week, because in the off season, it's not just about the game. We need to generate ideas for the hotline. If somebody in the chat can give us a good idea for hotline, we'll promote it before the end of the show.
By the way, Ralph,
so
that's next. Yeah, that's next level, Ralph. That you have Eli Apples as a Saints player on.
I have Eli Apple burned to a crisp right here. It's going to happen. I know you want to put the Eli Apple topic to bed, but I don't, because it's the off season. And here's the thing, Andrew. Either when I call you every day, we can either talk about Eli Apple or we can talk about the Saints quarterback situation. It's your choice. And I talked to Andrew.
Maybe we could go 50-50.
Behind the scenes, I talk to Andrew. I call him every day. And every day he says, are you going to talk about the freaking quarterback situation with Saints? Yes, I am. I'm obsessed with it. I play out different scenarios, best case, worst case, different angles. I just soak up any quarterback news, and it's gonna be that way until free agency starts and the Saints pick one. And Andrew, you just might need to block me from your cell phone if a rumor comes out that the Saints are looking at Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson or whoever. Like, just block me on your phone because I'm gonna blow it up. I'm gonna be ready. I can't wait. I'll just inject a Saints quarterback rumor. It'll be like heroin to me. I don't even care. Like, I'm here for it. So there you go.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but my mother-in-law sent me a bunch of Mardi Gras stuff. I don't know, it's just sitting here on our table. So,
yeah, the thing is with Mardi Gras, my son hasn't experienced it. We got to figure one of these years. I'm going to convince my wife to take him out of school because in Houston you don't get off. We don't get off from Mardi Gras. So I got to convince Sally to let me take him out of school. We'll go, like, not for Mardi Gras Day maybe, but maybe the weekend before Mardi Gras. We'll make it a long weekend. Give him the Mardi Gras experience before he gets older. Because like kids, when they're like 6, 7, you can put them on the ladder. That's when they're adorable. I gotta get him that experience. So totally. Thomas, it's trivia time. What do we have for trivia today?
Okay, so for the trivia, we have one of the, if not the hardest trivia yet, courtesy of Not Budrich this time. And the trivia question is, what former Saint is the first of 3 generations of NFL players in his family?
Ooh.
Can you read that again? Sorry, I was busy putting all this stuff on.
What former Saint is the first of 3 generations of players in his family? Courtesy of who that, by the way?
Well, I know Michael Maudy's dad played for the Saints. Did they have a grandfather play for the Saints as well?
Well, I don't think it says they have to all play for the Saints. I just think they have to they had to all play in the NFL.
Just one of them. One is currently playing in the NFL. If you can guess the one that's currently playing, I would give you that.
Well, it's Cooper Kupp. It's Cooper Kupp, and his dad played in the NFL, and his grandfather was a Saint.
Is it Cooper Kupp? That doesn't look like Cooper Kupp's silhouette.
Cooper Kupp's grandfather played for the Saints.
Yeah, but did his dad played?
His dad played in the NFL, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's the answer. I think that's too obvious. Like, it was in the Discord chat, which you should, if you're not a patron, you should become a patron. Then you get access to our Discord. We have totally fun in there. It's fun every single day. You should do it. It's worth it just for becoming a patron is worth it just for that. Besides the Mardi Gras swag you get, which, by the way, is awesome. If you become an annual patron, you get the Saints Survival mug. It's awesome. I guess it's too obvious, but I guess Thomas, that's the final answer. It's Kupp. Oh, it is.
I hate you, Saints, to death. I hate you. You spoiled it, man. I messed with him. He posted it in the Discord chat today.
No, I already knew that.
The answer.
Yeah,
of course.
Oh, that's a good looking smile there.
I wasn't looking in Discord. I knew.
That dude looks like the platonic ideal of the 1960s football player right there.
So Jake Kupp, that's the grandfather of Cooper.
Yeah.
He went to the Pro Bowl, which, as we know, in the 60s,
for the Saints
player, that's a unicorn. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's in the Saints Hall of Fame, and he was on the All-Decade team like 5 years in a row or whatever. So he was a Saints legend as an offensive guard.
I think he was an inaugural. I think he was an inaugural member of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he was.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I also learned that Cooper Kupp was a Saints fan growing up because of his grandfather.
Dude, why didn't they draft Cooper Kupp? God damn it.
It's a great question.
Should we trade Michael Thomas for Cooper Kupp?
No, but if they'd have had Cooper Kupp, they'd probably made a Super Bowl with Drew Brees. So So, all right, Thomas, hit the take it to the top so we can get to the questions. Because we got a ton of them, apparently. Or do we? There we go. Take it to the top. Never, ever gets it.
You know, Morton Anderson has a podcast, by the way.
He does. We need to have him on. I wonder if he's still, if he's. It seems like he's pretty proud of this song. Like he let Jeff Duncan did a feature of it when he was working for The Athletic. He seemed pretty proud of it. He was like, the 80s were wild.
Yeah.
So Thomas, hit us up. Well, first question. Let's go.
Okay, first question from Blake Zyken. Which is worse, Dave's singing or Ralph's taste in music?
That's low. That's a low. That's a low blow.
Well, let's see. On one hand, you have Ralph loving the wallflowers.
That's a low blow.
On the other, you have Dave singing about Ian Book throwing rainbows. Both have comedic value. I would say Dave's singing is worse because he doesn't know when to stop. That's the thing. Like Ralph won't go out of his way to keep talking about the wallflowers. Dave, once he gets started with his singing, it's like, okay, like you've made your joke, you can stop now.
Yeah,
and he keeps
here's the
going.
thing. I don't know what
horrible.
about the wallflowers. I don't know what made me madder. People DMing me that they were really, really offended by me liking the wallflowers, or the people DMing me and emailing me saying, we don't believe you. It's just a comedy bit. Nobody likes the wallflowers. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
And both of them hurt my feelings.
I'm kind of with that group.
Both of them hurt my feelings. Like, I like what I like. And if you would give the wallflowers a chance, you would like them too. Just saying. So, there you go.
Next question.
Okay, next question. Next question comes from Saints to Death. And he asks, was Drew Brees' hairline snubbed for Comeback Player of the Year?
Oh, poor Drew. Poor Drew.
He said that he seriously considered coming back for that Dolphins game.
Dude, let's talk about that. I wish.
Are you glad that he didn't come back?
No. I know that if he would have came back against the Dolphins, there's like a 55% chance that it would have been horrific. Because the Saints, they didn't have.
Sorry, what was that percentage chance you just put out
55.
There? Oh, more than that.
But here's the thing, Andrew.
More than that.
If he would have came back, it would have given us as a fan base a chance to give him a proper goodbye. If he would have came back for that game, I would have flown in and gone to it.
I don't know, man. Like the proper goodbye could have been a bunch of middle fingers if he had played like Ian Book, though. You know what I'm saying?
No, he wouldn't. Like Drew Brees, it wouldn't have. Like he would have. He wouldn't have. It would have been. I think it would have been a potential where it would have been bad, where his completion percentage was bad and he had a bunch of interceptions or whatever. He wouldn't have got sacked 9 times. Like Drew Brees, it just wouldn't have happened. Like if it had been like 1-2 the ball out.
I mean,
like,
he couldn't have been worse than Ian Book. No chance.
And I just think like the chance to give him a proper goodbye and Andrew, if they had won that freaking game and Drew Brees came back, it like would have been an all-time Saints memory.
But you know how that would have gone. Like Brees would have won that game, and we all would have been like, yeah, Simeon, Taysom, y'all can stay on the COVID list. Drew's got this the rest of the year. You know, like that's the thing. Like it wouldn't have been 1 week. It would have been like, Drew, all right, good game.
I'd have been
nice
fine
job,
with it.
attaboy. Please stick around for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And he knew that too. I think he knew that deep down. He knew that if he came back, it wasn't going to be for 1 year.
Yeah, it's like drugs. You gotta quit and you can't go back.
Well, speaking of quitting and not coming back, are you nervous that Tom Brady is already.
He's hedging.
I feel like Tom Brady and the Bucs are already talking about him coming back. He's
I feel like Tom Brady
already being like, well, maybe
he quit, and it's been like 2 weeks at home, and he's like, I can't. What Giselle, shut, and he can't use the excuse that he's got to go like work out for 5 hours.
He's like, wait a minute, I have to drive these kids to school.
You're like, you want me to take out? Like, no. He's like, I'm Bruce, just hold me a spot. I'm coming back.
Yeah.
Like,
wait, I have to teach this kid his ABCs like every day, not
every
just
day?
like just one time, like for fun. Like I got to do it again tomorrow. Maybe I
I don't want to watch Emily in Paris on Netflix, Giselle. I don't. All right.
Next question.
Next question. We got some really interesting questions tonight, by the way. Forgot to mention it. Next question from Biloxi Blues. and all are pretty funny. Would you be willing to follow the Rams blueprint and sacrifice at least the next 5 years worth of salary cap and draft capital to buy one Super Bowl appearance?
Yes. Oh, appearance, not victory.
Ooh.
Yeah, appearance.
Okay, the word appearance kind of gives me pause.
Yeah.
But I think the implication there is that it's not that they lose, it's that you don't know the outcome of the Super Bowl. You are promised to be in the game, but you don't know whether they win or lose. I just think it's so hard to make the Super Bowl. It's so freaking
Andrew
hard.
doesn't know football.
If you can get in, like I take it. I take it.
Because here's the thing.
Look how long it took Cincinnati to win like 2 fluke games on the road to get back in. How long ago did they last
30.
make it, Ralph? Yeah, 30 years.
They went in 1888.
Yeah, like, dude, none of us, like all of us listening to the show, all of us, we don't know that the Saints making the Super Bowl again is in the cards in our lifetime. So if you guarantee me that right now, I'm taking it. Period.
And especially make the Super Bowl, it's amazing no matter what. But the way the playoff format is now, you probably have to win 3 playoff games. So just that amazing experience alone is worth it. Like,
how many years have the Saints been a team now? 60? Close to 60, right?
67. So
57? Oh,
it's since 67. So
55, right?
Yeah.
And they've been to 1 Super Bowl in 55 years. Now, they're better now than obviously the 60s, 70s, 80s. Like, throw that away. Like the landscape for New Orleans is very different now than it was the first 3 decades of their franchise. But at the same time, I just don't think a Super Bowl. Like, who knows? Who knows? It could be another 55 years.
Would you take the same deal that Biloxi Blues offered you if I said to you, Andrew, you have to give up 5 years of draft capital and salary cap? The Saints could have made the Super Bowl this year, but you would have had to start Trevor Siemian in the Super Bowl. Would you still do it?
Done. I just man, I was watching that game, and I was just thinking Cincinnati has to be one of the worst football teams I have ever seen in the Super Bowl. They're terrible, and like Joe Burrow's freaking awesome. I mean, Ralph, I'm a huge Joe Burrow fan, and drafting Jamar Chase was a freaking game changer for that team, and drafting that kicker McPherson was a great decision.
Yeah,
and those guys carried that team to the Super Bowl, and they almost freaking won.
They almost did.
But I looked at that offensive line,
trash,
and I looked at Eli Apple, and honestly, I looked at their play calling and their coaching.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, man, Sean Payton would have won that fucking Super Bowl.
I
really believe that. Like Sean Payton coaching, like let's say he wasn't part of the prep or anything, he was just the play caller. On game day, he shows up and he calls the plays. He would have done a better job than Taylor. I really believe that.
Cincinnati, their offense, and you know me, I'm not a tape watcher like you, and I don't grade, and I don't understand formations, whatever. But Cincinnati's offense, to me, it looks like they don't have a coherent plan in that they just call plays. In a sense of when you watch the Saints or you watch a good offense, they'll call plays, and they're setting something up. 2 or 3 things, right? They call plays and they're setting this up, and they're like, we're setting this up. We're setting this up. We're setting this up. And then in the third and fourth quarter, they hit you with it, whether it's a screen that you talked about early or it's a play action pass that goes against tendency. And maybe they hit the play, maybe they don't. But you're like, oh, there it is. They've been setting it up. Cincinnati, I feel like it's just me when I play Tecmo Bowl. You're just picking plays, and it makes no sense.
Joe
mostly
Burrow
it's just
has been propping people up. Like he made Joe Brady look like he was actually a hotshot coach that people wanted, right? And he made Ed Orgeron look competent for a year.
That's right.
And then he made Taylor go to the Super Bowl and look like a young hotshot coach. So like Joe Burrow has been elevating these guys that with time away, we start to realize they're dopes, right?
That's right.
And I just, man, like, I forget who said this. Maybe it was Tony Dungy, but like, he's going to be Andrew Luck if this continues. He's going to freaking retire in a couple years because it's a freaking joke, man, that this often he's getting hit, he's getting sacked constantly. And like, it's a freaking miracle that he made it through this year unscathed, that he didn't miss a game due to injury, that he didn't tear his ACL again like he did last year. Like he is getting hit too much. He's getting crushed. And it is malpractice by the Bengals to not get him a proper offensive line. And I know it's hard, but like, I know they're one of the teams with most cap money going into this offseason. They have got to sink everything into fixing that line.
I don't think they will. Because I was arguing with you.
This is their window, man. This is it.
The Bengals, they're not going to do
this,
it. They're not going to do it. They don't spend money. They're not going to do it. They're the Bengals. The Bengals are going to look at it and say, we'll just get healthy on the offensive line. We went to the Super Bowl with this offensive line. I don't see a problem. Like it's just who Mike Brown is, you know? So.
Next question.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, next question from Badrich. Badrich asks, what's better, a group led by Odell, Jameson Williams, and John Mechie to form the Torn ACL Club, or 3 Kenny Stillses that are completely healthy?
Oh my God.
Ugh.
Oh my God. I think I would just take the torn ACL club and just hope for the best. Because I don't want Kenny Stills on my TV anymore.
Yeah, agreed.
You know? Like Kenny Stills, if you haven't seen Andrew's video that Thomas did a great job editing, like Kenny Stills is so atrocious. Like Andrew was just told Thomas, he's like, here's all of Kenny Stills' bad plays, and Thomas had to cut them down to make the video tight and coherent because Kenny Stills had so many bad plays during the year.
Horrible.
Next question.
Okay, last question of the show belongs to Saints Rabbit, and Saints Rabbit asks, I think, Andrew, you're not gonna like this question. Is it financially? I mean, it's a good one, but you're not gonna like it. Is it financially worthwhile to acquire Eli Apple in the off season, treat him like shit, and keep him on the bench for ridicule to keep our petty traditions alive?
I mean, I kind of like this question because I go back to Michael Thomas and how
thanks to Brett and Lafayette for subscribing with Prime. Thank you, Brett.
5 months. 5 months. Thanks,
that's
man.
right.
Thank you, Brett. I feel like the Michael Thomas verbally abusing Eli Apple at practice at Ohio State every day is kind of one of the unsung things. And for him to come back to the Saints and have to cover Michael Thomas again at practice, like, I don't know. That whole thing is hilarious. So If Michael
they could
Thomas
keep him.
is healthy,
Here's what they could do. They could have him on the practice squad, never call him up, and Michael Thomas could just roast him repeatedly. It could help Michael Thomas get his confidence back.
Yeah.
And quench our thirst to be petty.
You know how we always talk about in training camp, like when guys make plays, we're like, well, is it the offense is awesome or is it the defense is awful? Right?
That's
You're
right.
always kind of like second guessing yourself. You're like, maybe it's great, but maybe it's not so great. And I just feel like Eli Apple could make us feel better about Lil Jordan Humphrey and Marquez Callaway. And
we want that.
You know, like even if those guys end up sucking, I need a few months of believing during preseason that like Marquez Callaway might be good.
We want
Give me some hope.
We want in July and August.
Feed me lies.
Want to be lied to.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little.
It's true.
This is where we need Dave because he would sing that. See, he would sing that karaoke style, and then he would do like 7 more bars of it. Like it was funny for like a split second there, but then you're like, okay, enough, stop now, and he would keep.
Why is that quality so terrible? It does not sound like that on my phone.
We miss you, Dave.
We do.
Everyone has a hard time listening to Dave.
I wonder what 4-star restaurant Dave took his lovely wife to. So that's the end of the questions. By the way,
Olive Garden's 5 stars, isn't it?
That's right. By the way, we got tons of questions, but keep them coming. And remember, send Thomas more questions. If we get enough of them, we will do a mailbag. Please send us questions because we're in that window of time where after the Saints hire the coordinators before free agency in the middle of March, content for us becomes a challenge, and we would appreciate you guys sending Thomas questions. We'll answer them on the Daily Show, which you should become a patron. You get access to the show every day. You're going to need it because the Saints still have 2 coordinators to hire, and they have a crap ton of salary cap massaging to do. So you're going to want this podcast every single day.
I got to say, Ralph, real quick, shout out to the patrons, each and every single one of you.
That's
seriously,
right.
Because, you know, it'd be easy, especially if you're a podcast that like people were kind of into, but like, we'll see you next season kind of thing. And like for us in February to have gained subscribers, not lost when it's February and we're about to enter the off season. And look, we're going to still do our thing every day and we're going to cover free agency and the drafts. We're going to have plenty to talk about, but it would have been very easy for you guys to eject and be like, see you in September. And the loyalty that we have on this show and the commitment that our patrons have it's freaking unbelievable. It really is. And I don't know like what we do to make you guys like us so much, but like it's incredible. It's heartwarming.
It is.
On Valentine's Day of all days, I think.
It's right. And listen, like we're at like 310 patrons and we haven't lost with gain.
Incredible.
Like I think it's like 25 or 30 since the beginning of the football season, which is amazing. And by the way, this is a chance for me. We started doing Twitter Spaces and it is a blast. Like we freaking love it. We had 125 people last week. We record it and play it back for patrons later. They can listen to it anytime, but join us on the live stream. This week, we're going to be giving away prizes.
Yeah, and we spared you, Dave, this week. So I'm expecting like 10 more subscribers.
Yeah.
All right.
And, we're going to be on Twitter Spaces.
Throw that shade at Dave. Let him know that you'll subscribe as long as he's not on the show.
That's right.
Help us out.
That's the best part of it. Dave will listen to the show tomorrow and he will be angry and we will get on the text chain between the 4 of us. We will get angry texts from Dave right about 10 in the morning tomorrow. He will be sending out very angry text on our text chain. It'll be great. So
yeah, but he right now he's enjoying his tiramisu from Olive Garden.
That's right.
And you know, he's
I wonder if he does like tiramisu and then like gummies or like tiramisu and a coffee. I wonder how he like.
Yeah, I think Dave probably goes to Olive Garden. He gets the tiramisu, but then he wants like the, you know, like the sweet frog froyo, where like he wants like the toppings. He wants the options of like a little Heath, you know, a little dusting of Heath, a few marshmallows on top of his tiramisu, a couple gummy bears, a couple gummy worms, because those are different. The worms and the bears, you know, they taste different. And multicolored sprinkles. And then after you go through that whole line, then you have the sauces, right? So you want the little white chocolate sprayed on top, and then you want, so I think Dave goes for all that. I think he wants, a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B.
Jason Champagne says, give Dave shit because he takes them on the show. True. Accurate. So,
that's a great line. That's incredible.
Jason Champagne.
I feel like that should be our one line. Give Dave shit
because he takes his shit on the air.
Because he takes them. Yeah.
So Thomas,
that's incredible.
Wait a minute, Thomas. Is this accurate? We did not have any clips of the week. Oof. This is not acceptable. Andrew just thanked the patrons. We love the patrons. And how
thinking about taking it back.
Here's the thing. We grind in the off season. We don't take a break. We give you a show 4 or 5 times a week, even though there's a dearth of Saints news. We grind and grind and grind.
I suffer through Eli Apple podcasts, for God's sake.
You people need to grind too. We need to have a clip of the week. It upsets us. It upsets Thomas and Poland. Get us a clip of the week for next week. That is unacceptable. All right. And here's the thing. Whoever does the clip of the week, Thomas, mark it down and remind me. Whoever gets the clip of the week next week, you get a mug for free.
Oh, speaking of free mugs, if you are on Twitter Spaces, when's that show, Ralph?
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night, Twitter Spaces, we will be giving out 2 free mugs. Hold up that mug. Let everyone see it. Ralph, there you go. We're going to be giving out 2 of those. We'll ship it to you for free.
That's right.
So come on Twitter Spaces, see us on Wednesday night, and maybe you'll get lucky.
Yep. So, guys, appreciate you joining us. Football season's over. I always get a little sad. There's no football to watch. It's the season was a little longer this year. That was nice. But I always get a little sad when the football season's over. But thanks for sticking with us. You're going to be with us the whole off season. We don't stop. We're here every single day. So for Dave, who was MIA because he was taking his lovely wife out to dinner on Valentine's Day. For Kevin, for joining us, he had to eject early.
Ralph's ignoring me.
For Andrew, Andrew. You're the
Pelicans.
Best. Most days. For Thomas back in Poland, running the show, doing an amazing job. As always, he's the best podcast producer in the world. And by the way, he's doing the podcast. There's potentially war in Europe. Thomas just put that aside and was like, I'm doing the podcast still. That's how dedicated he is to the show. So for everybody, thanks for joining us. Remember, kids, don't shoot your dick off. Until next week, the bar is closed.
Are you going to acknowledge the Pelicans?